This case is one of the most toughest cases I have ever taken on. One of greed, espionage, and mangled lawn care equipment. I've been tracking this maniac all throughout the tri-state area, and his kills only get more creative. But I believe the most can be learned from his first victim. The steel FS91 16.5-inch gas trimmer was found dismembered, bagged, and stored in a Tupperware in Mr. Stefan Sarbel's garage on July 5th, 2023. The Stefan Sarbel case rocked me to my core, and I've been working on it ever since. But what the killer didn't know was that his dismemberment allowed us to get a look inside the steel weed eater that we were never able to get before. Small, single-piston, two-stroke engines like this one in the Weed Eater uses a carburetor to control the flow rate of the fuel injected into the airstream so that they mix in a way that's proportional to the flow rate of the air, which will then enter the engine. This is done by using a venturi to convert pressure into speed. This venturi is connected to an air intake and the fuel tank, and it's shaped so that the cross-sectional area decreases like a nozzle to accelerate the fluid and decrease the pressure. This decrease in pressure is what injects the fuel into the airstream. The two main parts that make this work is the throttle and the choke. The pressure upstream of the choke valve is approximately equal to the atmospheric pressure, while the pressure after the choke is significantly lower in order to intake the air. After the choke, due to the vacuum created in the venturi, the throttle allows for the fuel to be pulled into the airstream and then sent to the engine manifold. The proportionality of this process allows for the mixing in the tank to be stoichiometric, which keeps the combustion reaction balanced in the piston. To find out how strong this pressure is, we would need to find the flow rate of the Weed-Wacker. In order to do this, we found that in the steel motor specifications from the operation manual, the displacement of the engine was about 28.4 cubic centimeters, and the engine has a power of about 7,000 RPM. With the efficiency for any average small engine of around 90%, we find that the flow rate of the air through the engine is around 0.003 cubic meters per second. Because we assume the flow through the venturi is inviscid, we can solve for the velocities of air on both sides of the venturi. With the air inlet diameter and the diameter of the open choke valve, we are able to find the velocity of the air before and after the choke. Then, to find the pressure difference, since the flow is inviscid, we can rearrange the Bernoulli equation and plug in the velocity equation, which gives us the following equations for the speed of each flow. Then, we can rearrange that equation to solve for the pressure difference. The pressure difference is around 7.69 times 10 to the negative third atmospheres. If the intake pressure is the atmospheric pressure, 1 atmosphere, then the chamber pressure would not create a significant vacuum to intake fuel. However, if we include the choke plate fully closed, the new outlet diameter would be around 0.09 inches. If we do the same math, we would find a pressure difference equal to approximately 3 atmospheres. Given the same flow rate, we can see that the pressure difference is large enough to create a significant vacuum to take in fuel. The average pop-off pressure, or the pressure needed to draw fuel through the vacuum of the carburetor and to the engine manifold of a single-piston, two-stroke engine, is around 0.68 to 0.81 atmospheres. If the intake pressure is the atmospheric pressure, then now the maximum chamber pressure would be around -2 atmospheres. And if you take into account the error included in the calculations due to the assumptions made from the inviscid flow and incompressible fluid models, as well as the fact that the choke would never be fully closed, then this pressure would be more than enough to take fuel into the engine manifold. This means this wasn't just a broken Weed-Wacker, but murder.
God, so much oil. Thanks for holding that. Your car is ready. But you gotta stop putting so much motor oil on it. It's really not doing